Hello everybody, it's Stewart A. Swordlow.
And Janet Diane Moya Swordlow.
And this is the Expansions News Podcast for the third week in August 2017. The third week, that means only 1 week left of
Now
August.
you're pretty smart.
And then it's the meteorological autumn.
I couldn't say that long
September.
word.
I know, because it's very difficult for you to speak properly.
Correct.
I understand that. It's a pity on you, really. But I forgive you and I understand. All right. Well, let me talk about something which I have been mentioning for years, but now NASA, not Nazi, but I'll have a Nazi story.
That's interesting. They're very close.
NASA has said that beneath Yellowstone National Park, there is an enormous magma chamber.
Well, I think they must have read your material.
Right. And they said that it is the greatest natural threat to human civilization as we know it, a potential supervolcano. Now, remember, all these years, oh, don't worry, it's nothing, blah, blah, blah. Now it's the major threat to human civilization.
Well, you just gave us a story a couple weeks ago, I think, then that said it wasn't a big deal.
And I've warned everyone. I said, this is baloney. It is something. And so this Mr. Brian Wilcox of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or at the California Institute of Technology, said, and I quote, "I came to the conclusion during the study that the supervolcano threat is substantially greater than the asteroid or comet threat."
So in other words, they're going to get us from above and below.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
And there are 20 known supervolcanoes on the Earth, and they say they erupt on the average every 100,000 years. Like, you probably remember the last one.
I do, and they all go off at once. It's a really major disaster.
Now, in 2012, the United Nations, because, when the volcanoes go off, they said there will be a prolonged volcanic winter, which will prohibit civilization from having enough food. So in 2012, the United Nations estimated that the food reserves worldwide would last 74 days. Of course, they haven't seen your pantry, have they? No. It would last a lot longer than that, really. I mean, stop eating humongous amounts every day, and it would last a lot longer. Anyway, it said a volcano the size of Yellowstone is essentially a gigantic heat generator. Oh, that's brilliant. I would have never thought a volcano would generate heat. Did you? It's like unbelievable.
It's a good thing they have NASA scientists to tell us that.
And they said it's the equivalent of 6 industrial power plants. And here's the thing. Yellowstone leaks 60 to 70% of its heat that comes up from below into the atmosphere via water, which seeps into the magma chamber through cracks.
Okay.
And the remainder builds up inside the magma, enabling it to dissolve more and more volatile gases and surrounding rocks. Once this heat reaches a certain threshold, then an explosive eruption is inevitable. Kind of like
your temper? Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. So maybe if I went to the Yellowstone, which I did.
I did too.
We
went together. Do you remember?
We would neutralize it. Yeah. Anyway, but NASA has a plan. Now it's NASA, so it's brilliant, right?
Okay.
So they believe the most viable solution would be, listen, to drill 10 kilometers down into the supervolcano and pump water at high pressure. The circulating water would return at a temperature of around 350 degrees Celsius or 662 Fahrenheit and slowly, day by day, extract heat from the volcano.
They're going to have to take out a lot. Oh, there's more?
But the drilling comes with risks. Namely, triggering an eruption. Brilliant! Let's do something to stop a volcano that will cause it to go off. It's brilliant. But, they said, now here's the thing. The most important thing with this is to do no harm. Duh. And he said, if you drill into the top of the magma chamber and try and cool it from there, this would be very risky. This could make the cap over the magma chamber more brittle and prone to fracture, and you might trigger the release of harmful volatile gases in the magma at the top of the chamber, which would otherwise not be released. So why do you have this plan to do this? This is stupid.
Do they tell you why they have the plan?
Well, here's the next part. Another brilliant section. Because they said whoever does this project will never see it completed.
Because they'll lie?
They'll probably blow up. No, it said because it won't be successful within their lifetime. Because this would happen at the rate of 1 meter per year. So it would take tens of thousands of years until there was just the cold rock left. So
Doesn't even
useless,
make any sense.
useless plan. Completely useless and moronic, which I would expect nothing less from NASA. So it's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. And instead of removing the heat, why don't you remove the anger and rage of the Earth's population, which attracts the volcanic eruption in the first place? Mm-hmm. Now remember, I did this in Iceland, and no volcanic eruption since then.
Because Iceland is...
Volcanic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everybody knows that.
Oh, come on, they're brain dead.
Not everybody knows that.
Now, a very quick, short piece here. You know who George Soros is? Mm-hmm. He's the Hungarian, or he was Hungarian, finance person. He's a financier who the Hungarian people hate him. And he's also Jewish, and the Jewish people hate him too. Mm-hmm. So someone dug up an article from 1979, and it was in Newsweek. And he said, this is a quote from George Soros, quote, "I've made my life's mission to destroy the United States. I hate this country, and I hate all of the people in it."
Are you sure that's true?
It's a lovely man.
Are you sure it's true?
It's right there on Newsweek, 1979. Go look it up. Okay? He is, someone needs to put him to sleep, seriously. He's like 1 million years old anyway. He's like an eternal vampire. So anyway, let's go to another vampiric situation, the White House. Steve Bannon, the Trump person there in the White House, said that the Trump presidency is over just hours after he was fired, and he returned to his old Breitbart news service area where he declared war on his enemies, saying, "I will crush the opposition. He will crush them." And he wasted no time in serving notice to those he believes are guilty of killing the Trump presidency that we fought for and won. And you know who he's against?
What?
In Trump, are you paying attention to me?
Of course I am.
He's against Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner, his daughter Ivanka Trump, Chief Economic Advisor Gary Cohn, and National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster, House Speaker Paul Ryan, and Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
So he's against like everybody.
Like everybody, yeah. And he said the presidency is over. It'll be something else. And there'll be all kinds of fights. And there'll be good days and bad days. But that presidency is over. You hear that? Yeah. And he said that it will be toxic for the White House. Well, I don't see how it could get any worse than it already is. Now, speaking of toxic situations, let's go to the Middle East again. And you know about Syria. But, and I've mentioned this on other podcasts about how the Israelis are actually helping some of the Syrians. So, as the war continues in Syria, there have been efforts by Israel which involve aid projects of sympathy, secrecy, strategy, and sensitivity. It's like being married.
Kinda.
Yeah. Now, the Israeli volunteers recently gathered in a warehouse to prepare boxes of children's medicines to be sent to Syria. And since Israel and Syria have actually battled each other in the past, they are still technically at war. But according to this information, there's a group that's called Just Beyond Our Border, which has raised more than $500,000 from Israeli donors and U.S. Jewish organizations. And they have medical supplies and volunteers that they're packing, the volunteers are packing to give to an Israeli profit organization called Israeli Flying Aid. It's a strange name, right? Mm-hmm. That delivers aid to Arab countries, which are technically off limits to the Israelis. And so the group started in 2005 to provide aid after the tsunami struck Southeast Asia. Since then, they have focused on giving aid to civilians where Israel doesn't have diplomatic relations. For example, they've given aid to Syria, Iraq, Sudan, and Indonesia. Very strange. Now, the Israeli government runs an official humanitarian relief program called Mashav, which since 1958 has given assistance to more than 140 countries in Africa, Asia, and Eastern Europe, including agriculture, water management, emergency medicine, and other areas. And it cannot officially access Arab and Muslim nations that don't have ties with Israel, so they do it secretly. And according to the woman who runs it, she said, "I can't tell you much. You can probably understand why." Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's a big, secret.
It was interesting. I'm reading a series of books, which I won't mention the title, but it talks about how a lot of the good Muslims get money to a lot of the Syrians and other people that officially they can't to help those people.
I'm going to get to that in a moment. Mm-hmm. But there are other private Israeli aid efforts. Doctors and other volunteers have helped Syrian refugees in Greece, and Israeli hospitals have treated more than 3,000 Syrians wounded in the war. And Israeli troops rush them from the border to hospitals in northern Israel and then return them to Syria. So they take them, fix them, and then throw them back where they were hurt in the first place. Mm-hmm. Brilliant.
It's a very sad situation, I think.
Now, Israeli troops have brought more than 600 Syrian children to Israeli hospitals for medical treatment. Now, I'm going to just say this, which I think everyone would understand. Israel doesn't do this because they love the Syrians. They do this for public relations and maybe to program the Syrian patients that they bring into the hospitals so that at the end of the war, they'll all love the Israelis and they'll want to. I think that's basically what's going on. But now here's something that's what you just said before about the donations and all of this. Okay, now people have been writing into me, and those of you who are on our website and read the Q&A know that several people have written about Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies or virtual money that you can get online. And apparently this is a source for terrorist groups funding. For example, ISIS gets funding from Bitcoin. And Islamist militants in Indonesia funded terrorist activities with money received through Bitcoin in January of 2017. So I've always warned against this Bitcoin and these crypto things, and people need to listen about that. There's also in the Gaza Strip a foreign terrorist organization which was mentioned by the United States, also launched a Bitcoin campaign last year, inviting supporters to donate money to purchase weapons. Now, cryptocurrencies are increasing in popularity because of the anonymity afforded to both sender and recipient. In other words, it is extremely challenging to trace who is sending the money to whom and for what purpose. And that's BS, because all the intelligence agencies can monitor it, and in fact, it's the intelligence agencies that started the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, etc., to watch what you're doing secretly.
Well, because people who use it kind of just by using it, they put themselves out as a target.
Well, now the Arabs have their own called the Hawala network, and this has been around for decades and allows foreign donations to terrorist organizations that have been delivered by way of Hawala. And in Arabic, Hawala means transfer. And these cryptocurrencies and Hawala transfers can both be used for legitimate and non-legitimate purposes, but they're associated with other companies. I haven't heard of some of these. Samurai, Bitcoin Fog, and Dark Wallet, which have been producing Bitcoin money completely, they said, anonymous to finance terror organizations. So I don't recommend, I've said this many times, I don't recommend any of these things. And there's been increasing mainstream media attention to the cryptocurrencies, and it's creating a new form of terror financing. And again, I will mention, it is all monitored, it is not secret, they can't trace you, don't believe what they tell you online. It's an intelligence service, well, it's not a plot, but
it's a
project to see who's doing what secretly behind the scenes, and they're going to get you sooner or later. Now, speaking of all of this, now, what was it? When was I in Amman? Like 2015? And I met with the Palestinian woman who was a reporter for Russia Today. What did she tell me about ISIS? She said, we know that ISIS was created by the Mossad and the NSA. Okay, so now there's a story about a Shiite preacher in California who claims friendship with very prominent people and insists the Islamic State was created by Israeli intelligence. He said, all of you know who established ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and all of those terrorist organizations. His name is Imam Sayyid Mustafa al-Qazwini. Can you say that very quickly?
Now, Imam is a holy man.
It's like, reverend or whatever. And he said that you know very well who paid for them, who financed them, who helped them, who purchased weapons for them, who even trained them, and who protected them. This is not the production of Islam. Islam is not responsible for ISIS. Most of their officers were trained in Israel, including Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the nominal leader of the Islamic State. And I have been telling you this for at least almost 2 years now, and now this imam is confirming everything that I said. But you remember, recent attacks in Barcelona and Finland and elsewhere, who did it? Moroccan people, young. I said, I don't know if you remember, years and years ago I said, in Morocco is a British and American base that trains terrorists, and now these Moroccans are out on the loose. Because Morocco is not a terrorist or a country. They're a very friendly country. And all of the recent attacks have been by Moroccan citizens from Morocco, which is a non-terrorist nation. So we need to look at all of these things, and again, all the things I told you in the years past are now coming into the mainstream media.
Now you don't have a story on what went on in Charlottesville?
Didn't I do that last time?
Just briefly.
Well, let me make a comment on that. And those of you who read my blogs know that I recently put a blog up that said, in my entire life, and I'm very old,
100,000 years.
Yeah, I'm not as old as you.
No.
You became a vampire many centuries before I did. But never in my life did I imagine that I would see Nazis marching in the streets of the United States, killing people on the streets of the United States. This is not unheard of. This is not United States anymore. United States doesn't exist. This is something else. And you might recall, those of you especially who are in my OMG group and who read my blogs, I said that there is a fourth Reich, which I believe our current president is part of, which is now coming to the surface and generating all of these activities. So we need to keep a very strong eye on what's happening.
Are you going to talk more about all these things in our September spectacular class?
It's going to be spectacular and scary because I'm telling the truth about everything.
From all your
come what may.
From all your secret sources, right?
And I do have, as you know, many sources.
Secret sources. We can't tell you.
I can't tell you.
Okay.
I don't even tell Janet anything, really.
It keeps me safe, right?
Don't be.
Okay. So you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have too many stories, believe it or not.
Yay!
I was gone for the week, most of it, so
Yay!
Here we are.
Oh, by the way, should I tell them that you let me just, dog food to you?
No, I did not.
Should I get, here's dog food till I get back.
Can't help it that you couldn't cook it.
Can't cook dog food.
Well, Anyway, on with my
Go
story.
on.
This was interesting. This was, I don't know if you heard about this one or not, that the U.S. believes several State Department employees at the U.S. Embassy in Havana were subjected to an acoustic attack. Did you hear about this
That
one?
means they boxed their ears in or something?
Using sonic devices that left at least 2 with such serious health problems that they needed to be brought back to the U.S. for treatment. You didn't hear about this?
No, I couldn't hear because I was attacked acoustically.
Yeah. Senior State Department officials reported this to CNN.
Oh, because they're a really trustworthy source.
Apparently, the U.S. is investigating whether a third country was involved as payback
I'll give you a third country, Russia.
for actions the U.S. has taken elsewhere and to drive a wedge between the U.S. and Cuba.
Because there hasn't been before a wedge between those two
It
countries.
says the sophisticated device that operated outside the range of audible sound was deployed either inside or outside the residences of U.S. diplomats living in Havana, according to 3 U.S. officials. One official said the employees could have suffered permanent hearing loss as a result.
Now, where have we heard, no pun intended, of this happening before? Do you remember when the U.S. went after the leader of Panama, Noriega, and he was holed up in the Vatican embassy, and they bombarded him acoustically? So this is an American plot.
Okay. So, one official said it can be quite serious. We have worked with the Cubans to try and find out what is going on. They insist that they don't know, but it has been very worrying and troublesome and strange.
And then they offered them rice and beans and said, don't worry about it, it's okay.
The FBI is now investigating with Cuba's cooperation, and they will allow FBI agents onto the island, according to a U.S. government official.
Okay.
And it says that for years, U.S. diplomats in Havana complained that they suffered harassment from Cuban officials.
First of all, okay, what's wrong with that story?
Well, that's what
There has not been U.S. diplomats in Cuba for years.
I know, that's the thing
Period.
I was going to ask you about, because why would this article say for years?
Because it's a BS story.
And it said frequently that they had their homes and cars broken into, but it said after the U.S. and Cuba restored full diplomatic ties in 2015, the campaign of harassment stopped. Now it goes on to say the Cuban Ministry of Foreign Affairs emphatically emphasizes that Cuba has never allowed Cuban territory to be used for any action against accredited diplomatic officials or their families.
Oh, sure.
That's what they said.
Okay.
Okay, I found that very interesting story.
You know, I know the Cuban ambassador.
I know. Okay, and then the next one was, I've seen this going around, I thought I better talk about it, because again, it's not going away, this is kind of a silly one, about people snorting chocolate powder.
In their nose?
Yeah, to get a buzz.
You can?
Well, according to this you can, but I certainly wouldn't want
How come nobody ever told me?
Chocolate powder up my nose.
Well,
anyway,
that'd
somebody...
make you sneeze, wouldn't it?
Well, or it would stuck, it would, like, can you imagine? It would clog up your whole nasal cavity. I mean, to me, that just...
It's really ugly.
It would be bad sometimes without chocolate up there.
Okay, let's not go there. Go on.
Anyway, there's a new product called Coco Loco that you can snort for an energy boost. It was created by Nick Anderson. Now listen to this one. He previously made a name for himself after creating a drug-free version of Lean.
What is that?
The infamous cocktail made from codeine-based prescription cough syrup known as Purple Drank and Zizzurp.
I never heard of these things. People, where do you find these things?
It says there's a chocolate snorting trend in Europe.
There is?
That's what they
Listen,
said.
I go to Europe all the time. No one I have ever met snorts chocolate.
I'm glad.
Ever. Well, maybe Swiss people.
That in this powder, in addition to cocoa powder, it also contains ginkgo biloba taurine, which comes from bull testicles.
It does?
Yes, and guarana, which I was going to look that one up, but I forgot. Guarana?
Isn't that from bat crap?
That's guano.
Well, it must be a derivative.
It could be. It wouldn't surprise me. Anyway,
that's what you left me to eat every day when you left.
This person claims that the buzz lasts anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour without the come-down effects of sugar or cocaine.
Only an hour? It's not worth it.
And it says it's legal because the U.S. Food and Drug Administration hasn't evaluated the product. But the negative side effects of taurine and guarana, or guano, I don't know, it says are blood pressure and low blood pressure and heart palpitations.
I get that anyway.
So anyway, then the doctors are saying it's not clear how much of each ingredient would be absorbed into the nasal membranes, but putting solid material into your nose and having it stuck there could create a paste and block your sinuses. So
What
don't.
if you blew your nose into that?
I just say don't snort cocoa. I think if you want chocolate, like eat a piece of chocolate or something.
Yeah, but then you'd always have it like ready. If you can just blow your nose, eat this chocolate.
And then you could
have
put it in your mouth, I guess.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Anyway, I've seen this going around the internet.
It's perfect for children.
Yeah, well, speaking of children.
What?
This also was, now this was a little bit to me a ridiculous story, but apparently it's a thing. This is a story about where condoms are placed in drugstores.
Well, that's not unusual.
No, where they're placed in drugstores. Because apparently the problem, what they're saying now, is they use the gay man as an example. He says, because he's gay, he says sex is non-reproductive by definition.
Right.
So he doesn't want to buy his condoms in the family planning aisle because he's not planning a family.
Yeah.
So he said buying condoms, and to me it sounds terrible, but and lube in that section makes him feel excluded from the sexual experience. Now, is this ridiculous or what?
Why don't you just buy it online?
Self-conscious in a way that heterosexual people are not. How would he know how heterosexual people feel if he's, you know, because there are a lot of heterosexual people who are having sex not for reproductive things. They're not planning a family.
That's true.
So it's like, okay.
Of course, that wasn't applying to me.
And then they went on to say that some people in some stores call it under sexual well-being, and some people put it under sexual health or drugstores or whatever. Some say just health. And then some of the things that are there like make me blush. I don't even want to read them.
Cock rings? Well, it's in the new thing. And spermicidal gels and foams.
Yeah, you're going to get flavored condoms,
that's like murdering
vibrators.
sperm. That's like spermicide.
Well, that's why it's called spermicidal.
God.
But the thing is, this is in a drugstore. I mean, this is what you used to have
little things to
buy
them like that.
But then they said this is not under family planning. It's in the feminine care. Then they have pregnancy tests, ovulation indicators, yeast infection medication, vaginal pH balancers. So anyway, it's just.
Remember I had that vaginal glitter story?
Yeah, that when you got it and you tried it out, but then you found out you didn't have a vagina that day, even though you identified that day with a female.
I woke up that day and I'm like, today I should be a woman.
No, a female.
A female.
You identify as a female. So you
went out. It's illegal to say that.
So you went out and you bought the vaginal glitter, and then you were so upset.
But I couldn't know how to use it.
Well, you couldn't find the right places.
I put it in the wrong hole.
Because you couldn't find your vagina.
I couldn't.
Okay. Anyway. So then they said...
You know why? Because I looked it up and I found Regina in Saskatchewan.
So you thought you had to go up there?
I thought I had to put glitter on them.
Okay, so you tried to cross the border and then what happened?
I got arrested.
There you go. So anyway, they said that apparently children who walk into the store and point to a condom and say, what's that? That's an opportunity to speak to them about sex, even though they might be way too young to know anything about it.
They're like 3.
Or less. Or if they're nonverbal, they accidentally point there, and then you're supposed
by law you have to give it to them.
Yeah. So anyway, the drugstores that sell these things say that family planning is the language we always use, and saying the word sexual would either offend or embarrass the majority of our clientele.
Oh, please. Then they shouldn't be in the store.
So you don't think they should use family planning?
There's no such thing, really.
What do you think?
Wait, if you remember the story, family planning said that we can not even have a gender anymore.
Who's family planning, dear?
The story from a week or two ago.
That was Planned Parenthood.
Oh, not the same thing?
No. This is just a term that they want, like soda or frozen foods.
Well, that's very different.
So now they want to use just, which they've always done, is family planning. That's where you find anything sexual.
I never planned my family.
Apparently
and they
not.
appeared anyway.
So this is what I'm telling you. So the gay people say that it should say something else because they're not trying to plan a family. You're missing the whole point of my article here. That's the point of the article.
Okay.
Okay?
Whatever.
And then it goes on to say, now this again is because now everybody has free sex, right?
They do.
That's what they say.
Nobody told me.
According to the American Sexual Health Association, listen to this, more than half of the U.S. population will contract an STI.
Ooh, that's a
sexually transmitted infection.
Ooh.
Gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia diagnosis rates are all climbing, especially within the 15 to 24-year-olds.
I thought that was going down.
No, because they don't know. They think free sex, go out with everybody and do whatever you want, and everybody's fine. And that's not the way it is.
Who's infected in the first place? Get rid of that person.
Medically untreatable strains of all 3 diseases are on the rise. This is what free sex does when you're around a billion people that you're not in committed relationships with. It says new HIV diagnoses are steadily becoming rarer, but not for the African American and Latino communities.
I don't know what that means.
It means that African Americans and Latinos are still having increasing HIV diagnoses.
Well, that's on purpose.
Well, that's what they're saying.
Because I told you a long time ago, the tests are calibrated differently for different people.
Now, it seems like the moment to expand awareness of sexual health resources, not hide them under a different name. Again, which to me is stupid. I think family planning works. Most people know what that is. And honestly, as a heterosexual, you know, it's like, to me,
It never worked for me, by the way.
It's no less embarrassing or whatever to go over and get condoms and vagina glitter and everything else, no matter what it's called on top.
The vagina glitter oil. Yeah. Clean up on vagina glitter oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be very embarrassing if you dropped the bottle or something.
And it broke open. That's what I'm telling you. So again, it's just stupid. It's just ways to, you know, infiltrate everybody.
Oh my
and
goodness.
you know.
I mean, really, people, do you understand why aliens treat humans like
and I mean, the thing is, with all that's going on in the world, we have to talk about this. I mean, really. So
I didn't think that in 2017 I'd be talking about Nazis in the street.
yeah, well, that's why I said it's all stupid.
That's really something.
So we mentioned we have about a week to sign up for a September Spectacular class.
Yes.
And that's about it. Our October bus trip is full. You missed out.
You're out of luck.
Yeah, then you're going
and you missed a good one.
Yeah, that's going to be good. And then Belgium.
Belgium and Tampa.
Soon?
Not together, but...
No. Well, I don't have the details I know on the site yet. I'm waiting for
I
that.
Can't help you with that one.
And then we have Nexus. We have the healing
Nevis, not Nexus.
Did I say Nexus?
Yes.
I thought I was misreading.
Because you're reading my
Yeah, the island of
handwriting.
Nevis, where Princess Diana used to vacation.
She did.
Yes, with Prince William and Prince Harry. Island of Nevis, which got a lot of interesting things going on there, but that's Atlantean healing frequency. So Stewart and I are going to be joining the celebration of the rising of the new old Knights Templar. So
in the way they're supposed to be.
yeah, in the way they're supposed to be, as a healing order. So it's very interesting what's going on the island of Nevis, and we're very excited to be a part of that.
And someone I told you from Germany is coming to get married and asked me to be the best man.
Yeah, we don't know why.
Oh, well.
There has to be another best man somewhere on the island.
No, but
You're the best man like a
none would be as pretty as me.
That's true. That must be it.
Yeah,
And then
my
we
glitter
have
and everything that I'm wearing.
yeah, except they can't see it unless you go pantsless.
I might. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because
no, don't say it.
yes,
I know what you're going to say.
I was given permission by the nun.
You were?
Yes.
All right.
The nun came in while you were away. She snuck in while you were away because she's afraid of you a little bit. Anyway, so this nun came twice.
This is going to be a joke.
From Chicago. She's actually Mother Superior, and she yelled at me for making jokes about not having pants. And she said she was very offended, and I should not do that again.
Yeah, so we want to know what you think.
So I apologized to Mother Superior.
Yeah.
But I'm not wearing pants right now.
Okay, and then books. Remember the Hyperspace Helper, one of our newer books, Hyperspace Plus. And you know what? I didn't bring Healing Archetypes and Symbols, but that's the third one, which is very good.
I could be the...
And then, of course, we have The True Reality of Sexuality, which we wrote in 2002.
It doesn't have glitter stories in there.
No, not yet. And then this is 13 Cubed, of course. Programming, deprogramming information for you. History buffs. True History. Blue Blood, True Blood, a classic and one of our best sellers. Closely followed by one of our newer books, True World History, Humanity's Saga. And of course we have our affirmations book, 1,099 affirmations on any subject practically.
And you have to say all of them 3 times a day.
Yeah. And then Decoding Your Life, our book of universal law, and I will be starting up in September. It will be my third year working on our self-healing webinars, which are fantastic. Starting up right after our September Spectacular class. And be sure you join our membership. I know we get a lot of Q&As, especially on Facebook. We don't do Q&A on Facebook.
No, or Skype. I get that on Skype too.
Yes, because otherwise that's all we would do. So you need to join our website, join our membership. It's less than $1 a day, so if you respect our work and our time and you want to help support our research, less than $1 a day, you can ask the questions that you want to ask that are applicable to the general readership, and we will answer you. Okay?
That's the truth.
So like our Facebook pages, share everything we do with all your friends. Anything else?
And, you know, less than 3 months to my birthday.
Yeah, that's right. And somebody was writing to you about birthday presents.
I actually got one already.
You did? What was it? Do I want
Well,
to know?
I can't say.
No?
No.
Well, this person has...
That was from the nun.
Oh, that's right. So anyway, but we had somebody who has been to Russia with a whole bunch of Russian history books.
Oh, yes, they're
there.
giving that to me too.
So that's pretty exciting gift.
Oh, and I was on Russian television.
When's that going to come out?
That was REN TV. I was on the Anna Chapman show.
We haven't been on it yet. They did the interview for it.
I saw it. They said I was the star of the episode.
Yeah, but we don't know.
And of course, she was the Russian spy that was thrown out of the United States in 2010. And I will be on that show. It'll air in Russia end of September, early October, but not in the United States.
No, but are we going to get some links?
Supposedly, I'll get a copy of it.
Right, well, we're hoping, then we'll share that with you. And you have another interview tomorrow night.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I didn't write it down.
Oh, that.
Journeys with Rebecca.
Right.
But it's her co-host, so.
Yes, from Vancouver, I think.
So watch the Facebook page, because that's where we will post it. Anything else happening?
And I'm starting my Latin American interviews again this week.
Oh, cool.
With in Spain. And that will be posted also eventually. Yeah.
So, and we have the new Smock interviews that are posted on our Smock Templar page. Lots of stuff going on. We have always got a zillion bits of information for you to think about so that you can make informed decisions about what you want to do and how you want to proceed in these weird times.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, with that said, I want to thank you very much for joining us. Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow and
Stewart Allen Swerdlow.
For expansions.com.
Bye for now.